Welcome back to the Proving Grounds after a interesting series of events in our first game of the second series. Cloud9 Academy, though, making quick work, and CLG Academy having to kind of step back into the situation. But we are here. You know, typically we do have a little bit of a halftime show, so I'm going to have to bid Mr. Pyra adieu. We'll see you in just a little bit, because I like that you have a little bit of bias showing already, because this next little bit that we have is biased casters. And although you're a caster, Pyra, we got to bring Avril into this. I mean, she is Cloud9. So
no,
she's ready.
It's going to be too over the top if it's both of us.
Yeah,
like,
too,
you know,
Avril
is the C9 rep, so
exactly,
I will graciously bow out. Y'all have fun.
All right, so we got some biased casters here. I have chosen a few clips to go through, and I need your guys' most biased opinion on each other's teams. All right, Avril, I see you're ready to go. All right, you've got all the stuff you could possibly ask for. Joshi, you're representing in just the jersey. I think there's a very big bias in terms of who's going to win this one. But let's go ahead and roll this first clip and start with you, Avril. Let's see some Cloud9 bias.
Can't hear her.
Oh no!
Oh, sorry.
It's the Cloud9.
I
All right,
don't
what
really
you got?
know
What you got?
why you keep saying that I'm biased for Cloud9. I have no affiliation with that org, and like I am completely just like a non-biased person in this game, and I'm not rooting for anybody. This is about League of Legends.
What?
It's not about teams.
You're not.
You're a fan of
Look.
the best League of Legends, right?
Yes.
It's always the okay, no Cloud9 bias there. I don't know what you're talking about at this point.
Yeah.
Because
Not
Cloud9
at all.
obviously don't need all the extra buff, right?
Exactly. And also CLG like doesn't really need like I don't really think there's anyone biasing them anyway.
Oh
What?
no! Well, you got Joshi crying a little
Ouch.
bit in the jersey.
I'm right here.
Let's go ahead and bring up the second
CLGA.
clip here. Let's CLGA? Is that what you got?
CLGA.
All right, well, we got to see a little bit of non-Cloud9 bias, but this time around we do have a little cluster in the mid lane, and I would like to see a little bit of that CLG
Look.
bias here, Joshi.
Look, Lennon, this game's a fluke. This
It's
game's
a
a total fluke. Past 3 games, CLG versus Cloud9, every single one of them has been a fluke. There's no way CLG is going to draft gap themselves for a 4th game in a row, Lennon. This is just a situation where, you know, we feel really confident, we're ready to go, and unfortunately, you know, we picked a couple of champions that we probably shouldn't have, and it means that we couldn't do anything. But next time around, we're going to have a better draft. We're going to go through it, and we know that my boy Meech and Breezy, my boys, they're looking to come here and fight. You see those arms that Meezy's been throwing? He's going to just punch Destiny in the face in real life after he punches him in the face in the game.
They were kind of scary. I wouldn't want to get hit by that left hook. Avril, I don't know. The bias just got hit by that CLG bias left hook.
No,
I don't know. We got to
you're
bring up the
rooting.
next clip here. No?
You're rooting for a team that got pub stomped and got aced twice. I don't
It's a-
really
it's
know
a fluke.
what your
It's a
argument
It's
is.
a fluke. Oh no.
Look,
It's a fluke,
nobody
okay.
beat CLG 4 games in a row.
Okay, that's the number we're settling on here. Let's go ahead and bring up and play that last clip. And Avril, I know you're not biased. I know you don't have any affiliation with
not at
Cloud9.
all.
But for a moment, just, you know, think of the Twilight Zone. We're out here in no man's land. We don't know what's up, what's down. Give me your best impression of Cloud9 bias.
Oh my god, look how pro this Nautilus is. Like, the freaking combo is just amazing. Like, Destiny is just the best support player in the entire world, I swear to god. Like, look, that Q into the E combo is just, that's probably so hard to pull off, especially with all the pressure. Like, no wonder why C9 is, like, the best team in the world, I swear.
Best team in the world. All right, I appreciate that bias. Mr. CLG, do you have anything to say? Is it, again, just a fluke? You're just sticking with that one?
It's a fluke. Nobody beats CLG yet again. We've been saying, you know, it started off a little bit unlucky. Jenkins got a little bit too big, and then, you know, Shane teleported from the middle of nowhere into top lane all of a sudden. And, you know, honestly, when you're hacking that badly, like, what are you supposed to do? Jenkins can't beat literal cheaters. Don't take that too seriously. They're not actually cheating, I promise.
Oh, no. Well, biases aside, my biased casters, how do you get that much clothing? Avril, there's so much Cloud9 apparel. I love it so much. Can we just have that, like, all the time? Is this how you live?
2, 3, 4, 5.
You know,
6,
Me
7.
and Jack are really,
8,
really
9.
close. Like we go by a first name basis. Please resign my contract, please.
There you go. There you go. Gotta throw that in there. I did ask you beforehand, and I thought it was really funny. What's your favorite piece of apparel? Give a shout out to Cloud9. What is it?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's these pants, dude. These pants are so comfy, and
They do
they're,
look
like,
very
super
comfy.
embroidered. It feels so nice. It's like layered on top of the pants.
That's so
and it feels
sick.
so nice.
Oh.
And like I wear these every day.
Now,
Clever.
Avril, if somebody were interested in picking up some of this, where could they go?
Where could they go?
They can go to cloud9.gg and use code 5Avril to get 5% off.
Let's go, the plug. All right, thank you to my bias casters. We did have a bias caster behind the scenes that we didn't get to see too much of, but he himself.
He's also
had
in
a
Cloud9.
round.
Stop there.
You got your back in the wall. I have my CLG jersey in the closet, but I didn't put it on. So I'm sorry, Joshi. You don't have reinforcements.
Joshi's
right
a
now.
brave
being a
man.
closeted Cloud CLG fan doesn't mean anything.
Look,
at
There's
this
a CL
point.
jersey in there
It's
too.
2022.
You
You gotta
Let's
wear
just
it
You
and be
are-
proud about it.
You
I
are
am
such a brave
proud.
man, Joshi, but here's the thing. You are huffing the copium, my friend. I feel
Oh,
like this is
no.
going to be 2-0.
That's it.
Probably.
Just the 2-0 easy for Cloud9. The bias is too strong.
Unless something happens on the... Are we still being bias casters? Because I could keep going, but
you just make the whole thing fun.
Twitch chat says we're biased the
I
whole
feel,
time.
I feel like we
so-
got to
Yeah.
move it. Yeah. Look, we're
True.
just doing what they want at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
honestly, that's all we're here
That's how
for,
we
right?
work.
Yeah, we're giving. Really,
Yeah.
we're gifters. Avril,
This
I
is
do
an
want to ask
entertainment
though.
industry.
Yeah, exactly. You know it. You already know. I do want to get your breakdown though, in all actuality, from that first game, right? And seeing what we want to see into the second game, see what the comeback from CLG can be, or if you think it's literally just a 2-0.
It's gonna be a 2-0. I mean, this is such an easy game. I'm sorry, Cloud9 for the win. And Shiden just makes Kevy look like Hotshot GG in the jungle, just ultra facing him.
Ooh.
Oh man, somebody
No
got
shade.
called
That was
burn
the cheapest
unit.
cut.
I got
Torch
called
like
burn
that.
unit. I don't know anymore.
Oh.
Things are on fire right now.
I gotta
but
hug
we
my knees after
are
that one.
Getting into Champs Life for game number 2. So Pyra, Joshi, let's see what happens.
All right,
Man.
we had to make the quick
My boy
transition
George.
from that one. That was yeah, shout out to George as well. But CLG Academy going to be swapping up to blue side. We will see if the recovery from that burn is swift, or if not. C9 now on the red. So far, similar ban situation despite the changes. Josh, what does this mean here for our two squads with Leah now coming through as banned away from CLG?
Well, the big thing that CLG really need to do is they need to figure out how to deal with Shaden, right? I know that Avril's been sitting over there, and it's probably not okay to say what she's probably thinking watching this guy play, but CLG has been looking for these big opportunities to try and find something, but as you called out, LeBlanc was the biggest bait of all time. Like, what is this champion going to be doing? It's going into a situation where it's going into an Ornn and a Nautilus already. Like, how are you going to actually be killing any of these members? You already saw the Talia, it was the first pick. Triple needs to find something that he can be more aggressive on, and instead they're pivoting the carry potential. We already just saw Jenkins on the Sejuani. They're giving him the Gwen. This is something that he has been fantastic on throughout this split thus far. He loves being aggressive on this champion. He loves looking for opportunities to take down Darshan, and now that he can finally face Darshan on even footing, he's going to start pumping it up.
Yeah, we had a tank fest last time, but I think things are going to change a little bit here as the timer will tick down, and they are opting not to take top lane matchup just yet, instead picking up the Wukong for Shaden. I do like this Gwen pickup when it was left open. Jenkins does have carry potential, and if it didn't work down in the mid or in the bottom side, do like the opportunity to mix things up. So, we'll see what C9 go for in this next pick. If they opt to go bottom, there are still a number of powerful AD carry picks up and available. Zeri not banned this time, but if it didn't
Varus again.
get
Okay.
punished last time, preemptively just taking the Varus. Okay.
I mean, we've also seen this played in multiple styles, right? We saw Gorica come out with both the Wizard Varus, the AP, and the lethality. We just saw King play a on-hit version of it with the Mortal Shield Bow and a Blade of the Ruin King. But we're also seeing a very standard play come right back on out from Kevy. He's going to be going with the Viego, which has been one of his most played. He's been playing almost exclusively Wukong and Viego this entire season. And so, as we start looking towards the way that he can play up against Shaden, he really, really needs to shut down Shaden's first gank. He needs to counter gank the first time the Shaden comes out on the map. And I'd say like 70% of the time, Shane's going to be doing it top lane, right? He loves interacting with Darshan up in the top side of the map. Darshan loves pulling junglers up towards his lane regardless of who the jungler actually is. And so Kevy and Jenkins, they really need to find a way to win the 2v2 when it happens.
Yeah, speaking of 2v2, down bottom for C9 Academy, we're going to see that Nautilus paired up, and Destiny going to be looking for the opportunistic hooks. Meech and Breezy got punished pretty heavily last time around, shoved in and couldn't really operate at a reasonable level. But I do like the scaling side for CLG this time around. Like the Gwen is going to give a little more power in the later game. The Viego obviously was opted away from by C9 Academy themselves, so there's more comfort for CLG here as well as damage. And you can see C9 Academy are trying to deny some engage on the side of CLG. So that is going to be the Rakan taken out. The Jax band, respect. That's an old Zion Spartan band, and I do appreciate it.
Yeah, it's something that we've only seen Darshan play like once or twice so far this split. But now, as we start looking towards the rest of it, I'm expecting to see another Tahm Kench come through for Breezy unless it gets banned away by Cloud9 here. And with that ban coming through, it almost feels like a challenge. Like, Breezy, we want you to play the Tahm Kench again. We don't think it's particularly good. We think we can push it around. And Cloud9, they did a pretty good job of it last time around. And with the amount of sustain and the amount of power that can come out from the Tahm Kench Aphelios, it also looks as though Copy is going to kind of play another front-to-back style of game. That's what the read I'm getting from them right now. With the LeBlanc already banned out, it feels a little bit surprising if you're already planning to pick up the Frog.
Yeah, it says a little bit curious here. We'll see what C9 do pick up in their R4. If they want to pick up the matchup up top and leave their mid lane blind. Ooh, this would be a bit of a flex. I think they might be having a little bit of fun with this, though.
King's such a troll.
Yeah. He is. He's
covers like
trolling.
so many weird things.
Every time, and I'm the one who got baited by that one. Yeah. So Akali comes out, and this should be for Copy. I mean, I feel like in my heart, there's a small chance this is a top lane Akali, though.
You know, it's not 0, but I don't think it's a whole lot higher than that, if I'm entirely honest, right? As we see the
It
Renata,
would be quite the bamboozle.
it would be quite the bamboozle. But as we see the Renata hover coming through for CLG, Meech is saying, I would love for you to play this, and they do end up locking it down. It doesn't quite have the same kind of way that it interacts on the map in terms of keeping you safe and giving you this big shield, but it does give you the bailout so that you can continue fighting even as people dive on top of you. And it creates so much zone control. But Pyra, we are seeing similar issues with the CLG roster as we kind of saw before. They don't have great ways to actually check in a lot of these bushes. They have a lot of squishy characters, and there's some big pick tools coming out from Cloud9. You already have the depth charge. You already have the
Stop
ultimate
calling!
King, and okay, Darshan.
I called it!
There you go. I was not expecting this. This is not a lane where Akali typically does particularly well, but Darshan, very excited to play this, and this feels like a copy flex to be saying, I don't want to play this lane. Do you want to play Darshan? And Darshan's like, yeah, okay, we'll do it.
I got you, bro. Yeah, no, I mean, however the reason, I do like this because it means that there is, you talked about pick potential. It's definitely there in spades, but also the late game AoE damage that somebody like a Victor can put out is ridiculous. Into an Ahri matchup, you're going to start feeling like as long as you survive early on, you play it safely, you see the cleanse coming out for Copy already, it does mean that all C9 Academy really have to do is make sure they don't get rolled too heavily. I know Shaden is going to be very much all over the map. The Wukong, not nearly as effective as he used to be, still packs quite the punch. And as you mentioned, CLG Academy, very squishy champions. This could be quite bloody early.
Yeah, the Wukong has not changed in terms of its ability to do damage. Really, it's all been about the fact that its clear is a little bit slower. It's forced to do a little bit more fighting than it was previously because it can't farm quite as effectively. But Cloud9, as they come into it, they do have a losing 2v2 top side, and so that does mean that that's a way in for Kevy.
Yeah, that's an opportunity here, and I think Kevy is going to need to try and get aggressive, try and make the plays, because Viego is a champion that we saw really take off in that previous game in the hands of Shaden. If Kevy can try and mirror it, we could be going to a Game 3. CLG have had struggles against this Cloud9 Academy roster, but if they can find some strength, if they can force a Game 3, that's going to change things. We're heading out onto the Rift. Let's find out if it's going to be a 2-0 or if we will be having a series on our hands after all.
And now, as we hop onto the Rift, remember that this has been the third game that Cloud9 have beaten CLG in under Yeah, 27 minutes we'll use as the benchmark, right? Two
Yeah, you can
26-minute
shift the
games,
number a
one
bit.
22-minute game already coming through, and now Cloud9, they're going to be looking to try and repeat that success that they've had thus far in King, looking to go with a very similar style build, implying to me that Cloud9, they're really just going to be relying on Shaden and Darshan to try and dive Meech.
Absolutely. I think Meech is going to try and play as safe as possible. I do like the Renata for, potential counterplay opportunities at 6. We've seen some massively impactful hostile takeovers. There is always the bailout if you just want a little bit more oomph to try and get the kill. So it's not necessarily as clear-cut and easy, but high cooldowns, difficult to play around early game. Would expect C9 to show a lot of pressure down there. Not from the mid lane, as Copy's not on something like a Talia, but we do know Shaden likes to be just about everywhere on the map.
Yeah. This is interesting to me as well, right? Like, the Victor is a skill matchup into the Ahri a lot of the time just because of the way that Victor's Q works and the range that you can play with it against Triple. But the fact that they give Triple that ward kill, the fact that they give him that little bit of extra experience means that he should hit level 2 on the first wave, and that can definitely push things in Triple's favor if he is able to start landing a lot of damage and control Copy. Because if Copy's... Oh
my goodness, we got the start already. Good trade on to King and Destiny for Meech and Breezy.
Yeah. But to finish the point, if Copy doesn't have a good first couple of levels, if by level 3 he's feeling really bad and doesn't have a whole lot of HP, Victor really struggles to make plays between level 4 and about 9, right? He really needs to get the Lost Chapter, he really needs to get the evolution on his E in order to wave clear and feel comfortable in the mid lane.
Be on Triple to see if he can make the play. I do like the Ahri a lot more than LeBlanc. It's less one-dimensional in terms of what you need to do on the champion, right? You can still have value later on in the game, even if you aren't popping off.
Yeah,
As
so you have a little bit
get
more
the zone off.
upfront crowd control, right? You have more discretionary crowd control that I like to call it. You can use it to pick people off, you can use it to hit people as they're trying to chase you, whereas LeBlanc's crowd control is so slow that it's mostly just a way of securing a kill later on. You care a lot more about the damage than you often care about the root, and so Cloud9, see what they do choose to do. Is Shaden going to be clearing out most of his camps, doing a 4-camp clear, and he's not going to be playing towards the top side off the bat. It's going to be towards the bottom side that Shaden finds himself, and they already have a big push, but I don't think they have the wave to actually go for a dive.
Yeah, not quite yet, so we'll check in with there as we do keep an eye up towards the top side. I got a little trivia question for you here, Joshi. When was the last time that we saw Darshan playing Akali? You remember?
I would guess it would be in spring.
Ding, ding, ding. You are correct.
All right.
It was against Team Liquid, and he found a win, in fact. So, worth keeping in mind, there has been some history here. He's played 7 games in his storied career on Akali, and not won most of them. But the last time he played, he beat Team Liquid Academy in spring 2022.
There you go. All right. Well, Darshan, it's definitely a very different style than he normally plays for, right? Akali does not have a very strong level 1 because of how high the energy costs are on her Q. And so it's a very different style where he can't necessarily win the lane at level 1. Instead, he has to rely on playing later on. And so Darshan, we'll see if he can navigate these fights effectively, because as we already called out, we've said multiple times, there's a lot of squishy members that Darshan can try and assassinate.
Just big potential. And without the Tom Kench, too, you don't really have a whole lot of denial. You do have to be careful if Breezy nails those hostile takeovers quite right now. We have been talking a lot about Darshan. I do want to look at Jenkins on this Gwen, because I think this is a champion that he can have a lot of impact on. Looking for the 1v1 plays, and does dodge out the shuriken. So Jenkins doing a good job at keeping on the up and up in this early game, up against a champion that will dive in on your face and render your mist useless.
Yeah, Darshan. I mean, he's getting pushed around, but this is kind of what we were expecting. Destiny goes in.
A little bit of a root down. They find a dollar damage. King Breezy flashing forward aggressively. They want to get first blood themselves. However, it is going to go the way of Destiny. Meech will follow through, and let's see if he can stay alive long enough. But Destiny hooks him right back in for 2 kills.
Shaden top.
Bloodthirsty support. Meanwhile, we check in topside. Darshan taken low. Shaden's there as Heavy is coming to the rescue. Some snips. Tag in forward. Darshan flipping back and away. Shaden looking for the execution. Does manage to find it. Darshan will fall eventually, though. It's a 1-for-1 trade extended.
All right, and Shaden, he does find an assist off the bat. So we'll see whether or not Shaden is able to continue playing, right? He shouldn't feel as though he's behind, but he's definitely not ahead at this point. And that's oftentimes the make or break point. Heavy doing a good job showing up for the first play. And Jenkins, the Verdant Barrier
Ooh.
coming through.
All right.
I have Remember when this item was dominating the meta? Okay, we'll talk about that in a second, because this play coming through from Breezy, right? Just immediately finding King. They find the play, but you notice that there's no bailout coming through for the Renata. It's already put onto the Meech, and Meech, you know, it just runs out by the time that Destiny is able to run him down. It's a very aggressive play, and it ends up getting them 1 kill, but 2 kills going over to the Nautilus is not exactly an even trade. And now, I mean, Jenkins, just with this Ignite, is able to pick up Darshan, but Shaden able to turn around the play and at least make it a 1-for-1.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the silver lining down bottom is the fact that Destiny was the one who got those kills and not King. But at the same time, you get the better kill trade as Shaden is going to take the last go into Hop here, turning this into a bit of a gank as he goes out. Oh, and they have to know something's up. Breezy getting caught immediately and does not have access to his ultimate. They don't have a whole lot of summoners either. Kevy way too late to this party. Meech will try to turn him around, though. That's a lot of damage from the Aphelios early, and Kevy fancied his chances, but I don't think he should have. Getting punished, hooked in again, and just feeds himself into the waiting jaws of King.
Yeah. I mean, the bigger issue was the fact that King and Destiny had wave control. They got to decide where the wave was going to be when people came back, because Destiny was still alive. And because they were able to pull the wave right on back, it gives Shaden an opportunity to come down towards the bottom lane. And they pick up Meech and Breezy, knowing there's no flashes available for them. And Cloud9 find a pretty big lead right off the bat. Shaden, a huge part of it yet again. And while the rest of the map is doing just fine, it is now on King and Destiny already, this huge lead that they found for themselves, right? But look at this. Because the wave is already pushed towards them, you see that Destiny and King can hold them here, and they just walk up. There's not a whole lot of special things they have to do for this gank to work. They just walk on it.
Yeah, and then you see that Kevy was really trying to make a play. He's only level 5, though, by the way, so you don't have the Heartbreaker, and, well, I guess you do, but unfortunately not the kind you would want. And C9 Academy, once again, just finding themselves good leads. Shaden making plays with a 2v2 coming in handy as well. And I think we have finally settled down long enough in this game, Joshi, to talk about your favorite item, Burden Barrier.
Favorite item, yeah.
I blocked it out of my memory a little bit. Why don't you take us down a trip on memory lane?
I mean, this was the item you would build in the mid lane, right? You would just build it and sit on it because it gave you so much magic resist, but it's gotten so much resistance pulled out of the base item and put into the Banshee's Veil that nobody built it anymore, right? You only really see it as like a stepping stone when people can't buy the Banshee's Veil outright, which is not that common because it's a relatively cheap item. Jenkins going for this is saying to me he is playing to win the lane, and not just win the lane, to dunk on the lane, because this is the kind of thing you only build because the stats are exactly what you want. But he's putting back his Riftmaker so far at this point because this item isn't particularly cheap. Jenkins now needs to make his presence felt in the next couple of minutes, or he just puts himself in a really awkward spot for the next couple of fights.
Yeah, it's 1,000 gold investment here, and, you know, we'll see you know, when that Banshees comes up eventually down the line, but he wants to try and win that lane. So far, has been able to at least go toe-to-toe with the Akali. The rest of the lanes need to get some work done as well. Shaden will finish off that Herald at topside. A little bit of time has been bought. Ooh, Sean jumping in onto Jenkins right now and goes forward for the perfect execution. Cutting Jenkins off from his own tower, and ooh, the needlework not quite connecting where he needs it. Ignite burned by Darshan, but Jenkins has his, so Darshan knows he can't fight it out. Meanwhile, back to the mid, we have Triple walking in through the gravity field. Kevy and Breezy were looking for an opportunity, but Copy wisely playing towards the strong side, towards the side you know King and Destiny can't be coming from.
Yeah. Shaden now coming up towards the top side.
Uh-oh, it was a bait. Shaden knows he has Jenkins in his sights. There's the dash, no flash, doesn't matter. You get the knock-up, and Jenkins gets bopped on the head.
There you go, good play coming through, and Shaden really helping out Darshan's lane as we see a teleport coming towards the top side. Triple going to be cleaning up some of that farm, and also a dragon coming out from Cloud9 for CLG at the same time. But Darshan
That's good.
finds himself in an awkward spot, no flash.
I don't think he was expecting that one right now, so trying to outstep, stutter step, gets the shuriken on, and ooh, Orbit Deception does go wide. Darshan, if he gets the outplay onto Triple, this would be huge right now, as he's already bought a lot of time by bringing him up, dodges away from the charm. Triple still fancies his chances. He goes forward, lands the orb, and the Foxfire just barely doesn't get it. Down to the bottom we go. King and Destiny going to get collapsed on as they look to try and take Breezy out before it happens. Kevy looking for revenge from earlier, manages to take down King. Breezy flashing away. Now Destiny and Shaden want to make something happen here, but they have to run for their lives. And they will be able to get away, but all of a sudden CLG proving they've got teeth.
Yeah, they're not done with this game just quite yet. We are still seeing opportunities for the bottom lane to play, being very aggressive. Didn't quite see how it started, but Cloud9 sticking around after the dragon gets picked up. Heavy, you know, is going to be right there. And so Cloud9 a lot of the gold lead that they had built up early is getting chipped away at. And Jenkins
Oh,
still needs to
boy.
try and find his way back. Darshan hasn't backed yet.
Darshan, this is... Well, that's disrespect, my friend, but he is going to be playing around a big minion wave. Doesn't even have Ignite if he wanted to try to go
So
for the all-in. But
greedy.
Jenkins doesn't either. Yeah, this is... level 9, I hope it's worth. But
I'm
all
not
right.
allowed to say it, but greedy mata.
He bleeps himself. It's great.
Yeah, you
He's
just don't
coming up
say
here
it.
too. Okay, so there's been a lot of like back and forth, like
Yeah.
like health bar baits in this top side, but Jenkins isn't falling for it this time. He knows exactly what's up. Copy on the rotate does mean that there's gonna be a little bit of chance. Actually, he goes in the 1v2 into the Chaos Storm, but he gets stunned up for ages, and the mist only works at a distance. But Kevy's here as well.
Yeah. I mean, the big play right there is the fact that Darshan, he puts himself outside of the mist as he starts going for the shuriken flip. That's the difference between Jenkins living and dying right there. But that's another time that we've had to see Darshan kind of get bailed out by people coming into his lane, and that's a lot of resources expended, and Copy ends up losing a lot of his mid lane for that. He loses an entire plate in order to make sure that Darshan's play doesn't end up being too punished. So, Cloud9, they find themselves still ahead, but that's the kind of thing where you can only do once or twice before CLG starts figuring out, like, maybe we should just kill Darshan when he sticks around this long.
Yeah, that could start to turn the tides just a little bit. As you mentioned, gold game 2000 now in favor of C9, but there is that dragon to contend with, worth keeping in mind. A little bit of a late start on those as the stacks would come as we get into the game. And, you know, the old adage of top lane being an island is very not true in this series. I feel like it's more of an archipelago.
I'm not sure that's how you pronounce that word.
I don't know. I didn't, my geography class was not my strong suit. I will fully admit.
Archipelago?
Or maybe archipelago. I don't know.
There you go.
English is a hard language. Okay, can we just acknowledge that?
We can acknowledge that, but can we also acknowledge the
yeah.
fact that Darshan, in order to match the Verdant Barrier, has just built himself a rejuvenation bead?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
He doesn't build into anything. He's just literally sitting on it. Now,
Do you
there's an
remember back
old
when he was
meme.
four rejuve beads.
Oh, yes. Now that's an even older meme. I was going to say, Darshan's also the kind of guy who would build like a Megatron cloak and then sell it later on, and then when asked about it in scrims and whatnot, he would just say, oh, it's okay, I just needed some quick MR. It's okay, I just needed some quick health regen.
It's an old school mentality. It used to be
Yeah.
really valuable.
I mean, it used to be the kind of thing you would just build Kindle gems and whatnot, but this is the kind of thing that Darshan loves to do. He will play for his laning phase. He will play for that 1v1 to a fault, right? It's the kind of thing where you start watching the way that he actually plays, and you kind of see, right, as this veteran player, he doesn't necessarily, you know, help out a lot of the relatively newer players. He's not like Armeo, who is the general, who is shot calling them all around. No, he's the kind of player who is, he will help them out, but he does it by shot calling them to his own lane. He's like, Shaden, come top lane, Copy, come top lane, come help me out. I will be strong and let me carry you. And so it's a very different style of veteran player when we start looking at the way that Darshan plays as compared to somebody like Armeo, who I feel is in a very similar like journeyman level where they oftentimes get opportunities to play at LCS, but have been in this spot where they are helping out a lot of developing players for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's that level of experience and that calm, cool collectedness, having been there, done that, knowing it all. It does bring a certain something to a team that is hard to quantify, right? And I think that's something that on the other side, CLG Academy, they just don't quite have the same thing. And with some of the most experienced players on this roster, you got to look at it. It's, you know, maybe Jenkins triple. Like that's kind of what we're looking at here. As Kevy does come up to the top side. Let's see if we can get something done. As Darshan thinks it's just a 1v1. Meanwhile, down bottom, Breezy. Pushed very far forward. Meech is still staying there, but the eyes on the prize were there as Shaden gets that Cyclone knockup. Moonlight Vigil going to come out way too late, and it does seem like they're blinking that one out as Breezy will get knocked up, sends out the hostile takeover, but they stand through the Berserk. A little bit of a bailout. Shaden does not all 2 kills unanswered.
There you go. That could have been very dangerous as I saw King lining up. There's a lot of on hits that end up going through, but the Q not going to be hitting the Wukong, and this is another time where Cloud9, they're going to be punishing the bottom lane. Meech and Breezy a little bit overextended in one of these lanes that I was hoping CLG would be able to play through. Meech, one of these young players who hasn't necessarily had the same kind of opportunity to play in Academy as long as a bunch of other people on his team, ends up just being too far forward. This is dumpsticking. Oh, he's trying to get all of his procs on his spell thieves.
Oh no, that okay. You want to talk about greed?
That's greed. You greedy mother.
Shaden didn't actually see him on a ward. That was just, he's got to be in that brush, and fast reaction time. So, both Meech and Breezy go down. I feel like after King got set behind early game, things turned all the way around. In C9, they also cut the Drake stack by getting themselves a Mountain. Cloud Rift too. So we got a wind to blowing as C9 looking to push in here. CLG would love to take this tower down, but they don't quite have the damage or the numbers to make it happen yet. Poppy has been just quietly stacking it up and lasering down all of these waves. Victor, very well noted for his ability to just frustrate siege compositions.
Yeah, I mean, he's well past the point where he's worried about trying to play his lane, so Victor gets to play the game again. It's taken a little bit of time, but now he can start dominating the battlefield with the gravity field, with the Chaos Storm, and suddenly, all of Cloud9 members are in a spot where they get to play. Every single player is going to be doing okay or better throughout a lot of these team fights, and it's going to be on their ability to execute, get to these locations first, and win a lot of these objectives. And CLG, they're trying to upset that a little bit. They have a bit more of a composition that is more reliant on going for these picks. You're looking at the handshake, you're looking at the charm, you're looking at the spectral whatever Viego's W is, where you just jump on.
Correct.
All right, let's go. You just jump on top of people, you stun them up for a moment, and you kill them in that crowd control. Cloud9 have a much better front-to-back style of team fight because they have both Shaden and Destiny who can stand in the front line.
And it comes down to the draft, right? You know, you talk about this in Game 1, you talk about it in Game 2. The ease of execution is huge. And for newer players, too, I mean, like Meech, his standout performance is like, yes, Aphelios is a good champion, but you know what Aphelios is going to be bringing to a fight. His best games, in my opinion, have been when he, lots of different ones. And you want to make sure you have him on the right hands at the right time. But like, his best games have been, in my opinion, like the Zeri games or the Twitch games, like when he's able to do things that are just explosive. Jinx, another champion that's been overlooked a lot in drafts now. I just don't think the Aphelios is going to be able to surprise anybody, and you know how to keep him down. You just kind of don't let him get off to a roll.
Yeah. I
don't think there's as much comeback potential on that champion.
I talked about it a little bit before, right? When you just Kaisa all over people, to borrow some terminology from Kelsey, you just jump forward, you dump your load, and hopefully that kills them, right? And that's what Aphelios tends to try and do in this day and age. You see a lot of the Gale Force into either the Collector or the Bloodthirster, which is what it looks like Meech is doing this game. You just jump in with the Gale Force, you ult them, and hopefully that should kill somebody. And so far, Meech hasn't been strong enough to actually try and make that happen. But now, we can start seeing him look for that a little bit, as we are seeing CLG moving in force onto the bottom side of the map in order to try to secure this bottom lane turret. Cloud9 will give it to them.
Yeah, they will. However, you see that Copy moving on to the side lanes can just get solo gold for himself to get the side lane. So how about that for glorious evolution for Victor? He's become a split pusher.
Woo! I mean, if nobody's going to contest you, anybody's a split pusher. And
yeah,
so
well,
far,
that's very true.
Yeah, Cloud9 are suddenly seeing Copy once again. Copy was down CS as recently as about 2 or 3 minutes ago, and now he's going to be well ahead of the curve yet again. And Cloud9, they're very happy to take this game relatively slowly. King is still coming online. He will still get stronger with his ability to put out bullets or arrows later on in this fight. And they have a better ARAM if it actually comes to that, right? You have Victor, Varus, and Mabas on your team. What more could you really ask for? Well, I guess a Soraka or a Seraphine, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but honestly, they've got all the ingredients to quite a fantastic team. And I think that's really what we're looking down here on the C9 side of things as we get closer and closer to that 20-minute mark on the game. It's about a 4,000 gold lead, and it's just a bit of a slow roll compared to what happened last time around. But that's exactly what Cloud9 are going to be happy with. Kills, of course, on King, as you mentioned. Shaden, of course, has been very active across the map, and you are starting to see quite a gap in just the execution, the hands, just about everything, positioning from these two junglers. And that's not even Shaden Kevy, it's just Shaden is just so darn good, especially when the team has tempo.
Yeah, and I feel like that's been one of the big deciding differences between a lot of our teams that have been doing well in Proving Grounds and teams that are struggling. And so far, what we have been seeing is the teams that are doing really well, the teams that can make plans in the mid game, right? And we've been seeing that Team Liquid has been fantastic at this. CLG is kind of struggling with this. Cloud9 is inconsistently really good at this. Now Shaden's making a play.
Yeah, they were looking for Meech right there, and Shaden does get denied for just a second. Meech has to burn his flash in order to do it, but he is out of there. be safe for a little bit longer. As the map state, we have a bit of a 1-3-1 happening. You can see Copy up top side, Darshan down bottom, met by Jenkins, but going to be trying to wrap up here. Another Dragon's hitting the Rift in a couple of seconds. CLG do have the inside track, but I don't know if they... C9 really want to contest this, as Copy's not moving, and he doesn't have TP.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things about why I say, like, Cloud9 is really inconsistently good with their mid-game plans, right? Like, Shane goes in for a good gank in the mid lane, but it doesn't get them anything. So now they have to look to try and trade on the rest of the map. They are going to try and get this mid lane turret, but they take a little bit too long to actually make it happen, so they don't have a wave.
Yeah, King, ooh, he was an inch away from getting caught right there, as he burns the Chains of Corruption to stop Triple from chasing, and yeah, a little indecisiveness does end up punishing C9 as the back will complete for the Victor. Triple TPing in to catch this wave, and CLG, they find a window and they exploit it.
Yeah. So good stuff from CLG, actually making sure that they are still playing to at least some kind of win condition. A soul is a soul, as Magical loves to say, and Cloud9 looks to go back in. Now, I'm a little bit more of a Davy Jones fan. Not the worth of a soul is not always equal to another.
Okay.
So now that it's sound in principle,
well,
now that it's sound in principle, we just have to haggle on price. And I would say I would probably take like Cloud Soul and a half for especially like a Mountain Soul like we saw earlier in the day.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, we've had a lot of good movie references. You have Toy Story.
A lot of good Disney today.
Doing Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, I also love that. You know, in our little behind the scenes, I'm getting shouted out as the announcer from a Goofy movie.
Goofy
second
movie.
one. Yeah.
Oh,
that's a classic, by the way.
is that the one where he goes to college? We'll get back to that.
I think that is the one. Yeah, it's been a long time. Darshan, look for the chase down. He's got Shade in his back, and Jenkins has to know something's up. I do like the Darshan checking him back in with the items, by the way. Yeah, he sold the beads, but he did pick up the necklace, so he's working his way to the Banshee's Veil, but he does get the Verdant Barrier first. Yeah, definitely playing for those stats.
This is very fun. I definitely like Banshee's Veil a lot more on the Gwen than I do on the Akali, right? Because if you can use it to block the first... If you can block one ability from Akali, generally the rule is Akali needs to hit at least 2 of 3 or 3 of 4 abilities in order to actually kill someone. You need to land like 2 Qs, or you need to land at least 2 Qs and an E, or 3 of 3 Qs and an E. And the ability to just block one of them with the Banshee's Veil really limits Darshan's ability to be aggressive against Jenkins specifically. But this game has been rather slow, and while we're still waiting for opportunities to come through, it feels as though, well, Cloud9 will not be keeping up with the same pace that they beat CLG in the last time that they had a couple of games against each other. Feels as though we're inexorably marching towards a situation where Cloud9's better teamfight composition will just outfight CLG later on, and this is one of the places where we always look at their backline in particular. Copy and King just need to be able to hit. They need to be able to find themselves in safe spots.
Well, King not in a safe spot himself right now, getting body blocked by Destiny, and the turn is huge as they find Kevy. The teleport's going to complete, and Jenkins immediately has to turn around, and Shaden, he smells blood like a shark, this jungler. They do get a shutdown onto him, courtesy of Jenkins on the final hit, and Darshan taking out Meech on the opposite side. The brawl just keeps on going, but C9 have the better of it despite losing their jungler. They get 2 kills back for themselves in the counter engage.
And King and Destiny, again, locking down another Oceanic player. That's the second time that Kevy has thought he found an angle, but just goes right on in towards the Mammoth bot lane and dies, right? He's looking for these opportunities to make plays, and as more gold gets funneled over towards Cloud9, you know, it's going over to some of the worst places. King is getting so strong at this point. Destiny even going with an Even Shroud to try and amplify his damage because he's recognizing that there's not enough burst pressure up against King.
Yeah, I think King has definitely proven that he's the real Thunder from down under right here. That's going to be the kill onto Kevy. Just did not have the chance to teleport. Everything just starts going wrong. I do like that they were able to delete Shaden at the end of it. It was a really clutch use of the Round of Glass ultimate. Unfortunately for them, didn't hit enough targets because it was a great spread from C9. So even though they didn't want this fight to begin with, they definitely finished it.
And now we have a minute left until the next dragon. So Cloud9, as they take more control, King still has his flash available, Copy still has his flash available, and the cleanse will be up a little bit after the dragon. But again, as we start looking towards this an ARAM kind of thing, where you have a bunch of people jockeying for mid control, for mid priority, the mid lane turret will go down. CLG will lose more ground, and Triple needs to try and find some opportunity to teleport into the map, but he has to just teleport to a minion, it looks like.
Yeah, CLG have to know. Something was up. Yeah, they see the laser coming out the side, and You do see a little bit of a flip, the rotation. Triple is going to try and get some damage done on this tower, but he's not with the team. Doesn't mean it's a bit dangerous. Darshan also not with the team. Doesn't have teleport up and available just yet. But that outer, sorely needed by CLG. They do actually even the score on that one. Dragon coming up in 20 seconds. They're going to have to back and reset for this, unless they want to cede it over to C9, which would further delay the soul point.
Are they going to play for the Baron?
They might.
They don't have a Blade of the Rune King on Kevy, so it's not the fastest thing. Yeah, Cloud9, they just have so much control that it's not possible for CLG to try and make that play. And at the same time, we see King and Darshan starting to hit the Cloud Dragon. So while it will take them a little bit longer because they don't have as many members, it will be another victory, another small victory coming through for Cloud9 as they grab a little bit more movement speed, matching what CLG have done thus far. But look at this play from Jenkins.
Yeah, that's going to be the fight on. Let's see if Jenkins can make it happen. They do get the charm, and everything stacks up on top of Destiny. However, Darshan is going to open up by taking Jenkins out of the fight, triple zoned away by that Chaos Storm. Shaden, eyes on the prize to take him down, and this one, he will finally fall for the second wind effort. Here comes
Kevy
from C9 as Destiny gets that big hook. Shut down. This time, Shaden on the back half is Kevy that actually took his life, took his form, and was able to turn it, but C9 just have way too much strength, and Breezy as the last member standing. As he gets the handshake away, I think he might live to tell the tale of how his team got decimated, but not if Darshan has anything to say about it. Dashing forward on the perfect execution, looking for the shuriken flip, hand shook away. And C9 will walk out without the ace, but they win the fight handedly.
I was not paying attention to Darshan at all, but the fact they had the perfect execution at the end to come back and save King was a huge team fight saver. I'm going to watch him throughout this entire thing because you see he starts off, he goes in almost immediately, but he's not really able to do a whole lot on the backside of this fight. He still is looking to try and find his way in. And towards the end, he actually uses it on Kevy super late. He's able to kill Meech without the perfect execution, and then he recognizes that King needs help, comes through, instantly does a ton of damage with his ability to reposition the fight. Darshan, actually a huge savior in that fight.
Yeah, that was the cleanup crew as well off the back half. So really nicely done. It was the Rocket Belt, I think, that really paid off well for them. And of course, you know, Banshee's Veil not taking that extra bit of spell. And it's in the hands of Darshan before Jenkins even picks his up. He went for the Cosmic Drive second.
Yeah, I mean, the little bit of extra movement speed will help him, right? The Verdant Barrier. Oh, Shaden looking for something in the mid lane, but the Verdant Barrier still just sitting there. It's 1,000 gold that is not 100% cost efficient the entire time, but Cloud9 with so much control over the map, they find another.
Yeah, Breezy just gets popped before he even had an opportunity to pop that ultimate himself. Darshan zoning Meech away here as now Triple is going to be caught and isolated. Does dash and stay alive, but this does mean with two quick pickups, Kevy and Breezy both out of the fight, no smite means the Baron is up for the taking.
Cloud9 do this so quickly at this point, right? You have so many members who can just walk up and hit it. The Blade of the Rune King is done. You have so much gold in the pockets of Cloud9. They take it down, and there's no contest whatsoever. CLG not even able to pick up the mid lane turret on the backside. And this is Cloud9 outpicking the pick composition right now as Destiny just finds a single member. Breezy walking too far forward, and there's not a whole lot that you can do. I feel as though Kevy, this is the third time that we've watched him go in for a stun when he just needed to back away, and it ends up being the third time that he dies to the bottom lane of King and Destiny.
Yeah, Kevy has just been having a hard time translating the pressure into kills, translating his positioning into anything positive, as C9 have just been picking apart the CLG roster in the back half of this one. 29 minutes on the clock, it's 16 kills to 6, and a healthy gold lead for the C9 Academy, looking to march through this 2-0. It's definitely not been as fast as some of their other victories over the CLG squad, but see if they can close it soon enough. TP comes in for Darshan as they eyes on this tier 2 mid lane. They have King on the side, just marching a wave of minions down bot, so they can cut through this jungle, lit up like a Christmas tree with all their wards.
Yeah, King should feel rather safe.
Oh, they get the root on. Oh, that's going to force that stasis out of Jenkins. And meanwhile, Kevy gets deleted once again. Hostile takeover comes from, but King cleanses out of it. And that is going to be a massive turn for Shaden to set up a big old cleanup. They take down every single member of CLG, and all of them stay alive with a clean ace.
And Cloud9, that's going to be the end of the game. Just over 30 minutes as King takes a beautiful team fight. it looks like Jenkins or Kaveri tried to pick him, but no, King's the one picking them. They take him down, they get the inhibitor, and CLG going to fall in a very fast 2-0, and that's going to mean that Cloud9 are going to be the next Academy team have to go up against the Academy Slayers of Ginger Turmeric.
It's going to be an absolute banger of a match. CLG getting knocked down to the lower bracket, not what they wanted, but C9 just absolutely flex on him to close this 2-0 out.
Ooh, almost killed Kevy on the backside as well, but there you go. Very fast day overall. We only had 4 games, a potential 6 coming through. AGT taking down IMT. Cloud9 again thrashing CLG yet again. I guess you do beat CLG 4 games in a row, and now they're going to be looking to continue pushing their way on, but IMT and CLG now on the bottom side of the bracket, and it's going to be a race to make sure that none of them are going to be the first Academy team eliminated.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a race you definitely have a lot riding on. You don't want to lose that one for sure. And
Or
man, we're seeing. I mean, yeah, I guess it depends on how the terminology shanks out. But at the end of the day, C9 just it looks so strong. That 3rd seed. I know they were struggling a little bit, but they got it together so well in time to close this one out for 2-0. We'll be right back on the other side of this break, so don't you go anywhere.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Proving Grounds. I'm here with the Verizon post-game interview, and I'm here with the support for Cloud9 Academy Destiny. After a resounding 2-0 victory over CLG Academy, was it just taking care of business for you guys? Easy as normal? What's up?
Yeah, I think we had CLG's number in the regular season, and yeah, I guess we kind of knew exactly how they would play, and we kind of based our prep around that, and I think we just read them like a book, and we just outperformed them straight up. I think we were just a better team, and I think it was like pretty obvious.
Are there any specifics in that prep or in that decision making for you guys that stood out against CLG Academy, or was there anything specific?
I think an obvious one was Meech's priority on Aphelios. I think he's prioritized the whole regular season and even in playoffs last week. And we played Varus. This isn't traditionally a normal champion that many teams play. And King is like really good at it. So I think we just took advantage of something they haven't played against before. And yeah, it worked out really well. And I think King was like smurfing, flashed over the wall and got a triple kill or a double kill, I think, in the first game. But yeah, it was lit.
So I want to talk about that synergy a little bit more. We highlighted, right, the Mammoth squad of old earlier in the day, but in this matchup in particular, really show it out. But you and King having the number here in this one, and as you said, kind of domination throughout the split. So how does it feel going against old teammates, but especially being with King to put down some of those old teammates?
Yeah, it felt good. We got that double kill in the second game. Or the first game. Actually, I don't even remember, but I think we're playing pretty well this series. Yeah, somewhere. And yeah, I like Triple couldn't breathe. Like I just kept fogging as Nautilus, and he just couldn't play the game. I think, yeah, just the better Mammoth duo wins.
I was gonna say, do you have any consolation words for Triple? Do you have anything you want to say? Like, good luck in the lower bracket.
Yeah, just good luck in the losers bracket, man. Just good luck.
Appreciate you so much, Destiny. All right, now you got to look forward to competition on the horizon. I don't know if you know, you probably were watching earlier. AoE Ginger Turmeric, man, they are on a run right now, and that is your next opponent. Will you be the next Academy team to fall, or what?
These amateur teams are too good, man. Why aren't these guys in Academy? Nah, Turmeric have definitely they look like a good team. I think in particular, Keo and Wixie have been playing pretty well. So we're definitely not going to underestimate them. I think in our first series against that amateur team, I don't remember the name, but we kind of tested some things and we didn't look that clean as we did today. But I think coming into this match, we'll definitely treat them seriously. And yeah, they're a good team. We'll do our best, and I think we'll beat them.
I'm excited to watch it. Do you have any thoughts about the general competition level now that we're a little bit into the second week of Proving Grounds? Has there been anything that surprised you? I mean, obviously with the AoE GT, but other than that, has there been anything that stood out to you for this PG cycle?
I think 100 Thieves losing. I think that was probably the first big upset. Then I think TLA kind of looked sloppy against EGA, to be honest. And yeah, I just feel like this Proving Grounds is literally anyone's. I don't think there's a clear favorite to win this right now. I think TLA haven't looked that good. I think we haven't looked good. 100 Faves literally lost. I think Dignitas are probably the underrated team of the tournament right now. And yeah, I really think TLA, Dig or us will take it.
you were saying you guys haven't been performing as well. What has been the key to kind of keeping it together? The glue within the team, kind of the synergies. Have you guys been doing anything extra to put in the work for that?
Yeah, I think this week we definitely upgraded. I definitely feel like we're scaling right now. We were doing night blocks and we were doing a lot more prep and a lot more effort. I think everyone cares a lot on this team, and I'm really grateful to have my teammates and everyone. Like, we just really care here at C9 Academy, and it's just really good to be in this team environment. And I really want to win with this team, and I think we can.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear it, man. I want to give you one last little bit to give a shout out. Anybody you want to talk about here before we let you go?
Shout out to the C9 fans. Always have to shout them out. Shout out to my team. They played well today. And yeah, thank you for the casters and all the Academy content. I think they've been doing a good job. We've been smurfing.
Man,
breezy, bro. Breezy.
Yeah, people got to be scared of that left hook. Man, I'm telling you. I guess it was a right hook at that one. But thank you so much, Destiny. I appreciate the time. And go enjoy a little bit of time off before next week.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to bring back Joshi and Pyra after we got to hear a little bit from the man himself, the bottom lane for Cloud9 Academy, saying it's anyone's game, Joshi. It's anyone's prize here in Proving Ground.
See, my favorite part was Cincinnati Fear who? I don't even remember the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
you know, it is.
He gave
what
props
it
to
is.
Ginger Turmeric though, and I think he stopped short of saying that they could win the whole thing, but they are the last amateur team standing in the upper bracket. So
Yeah.
But they're
We'll see
standing
that-
in the way of Cloud9. I got to
Yeah.
bring back Avril because we need our Cloud9 bias or non-bias here
Non-bias,
to finish
no
up
bias.
today.
No bias,
no
not at
bias.
all.
Okay. Just in all actuality, though, we'll get her in a second. But it has been a nice come up for Cloud9. Even if Destiny is saying you're seeing some lackluster performances in their own eyes, you still get to see a lot of this caring that he's talking about, a lot of the effort put in by the squad holistically, Joshi.
I mean, reading between the lines and the way that they've done a lot of their interviews recently, it was plainly obvious that they were having some internal struggles in order to try and build up a lot of the synergy. But from what it sounds like from this most recent one, it sounds like those struggles might have been solved. And if that's the case, this Cloud9 is going to be scary, right? Especially with the way that Team Liquid played in their most recent series against Evil Geniuses. Even if we discount Jan's sickness, this is definitely a spot where Cloud9, we always thought might be a team that could actually win the Proving Grounds. If this is the form that they come through, if they are figuring out all their issues, this is a team that can realistically take it.
Yeah, I do hear we have our bias in tow here, I believe, as Avril will be joining us now. Do you have any thoughts about the domination that we just saw? Yeah? All your bias has disappeared, though. We don't have all the clothes everywhere. What happened?
Yeah, where's the
Yeah,
K-pop
I mean-
idols?
Yeah.
I mean, it's end of the day. We gotta wrap it up, you know.
Yeah, true. Do you have any thoughts on that Cloud9 victory? I mean, in terms of hearing from Destiny, anything along those lines?
It was so clean, and I'm really glad he was really humble. And like, you don't really see that in the pro scene. It's really cool.
I mean, you heard that he said that he thought Breezy had the better form when going for the punches, you know, so just a little bit of humbleness there. I love to see it. Destiny is definitely a player that has seen a lot of growth so far throughout summer, and hopefully we can continue seeing it happen.
Well, we got to see that growth continue here for all squads involved in Proving Grounds. We're going to go ahead and bring up the upper bracket to see exactly where we are panning out, right? We have our upper bracket matchups ready and raring to go. Dignitas Academy versus Team Liquid Honda Academy, and AoE Ginger Turmeric making the amateur run in the upper bracket against Cloud9 Academy.
It's a Cinderella story,
It's
baby.
a Cinderella story.
remember-
Tell me, Joshi.
Remember, the winner of both those sets are going to be able to play on the LCS stage comes the end of Proving Grounds, right? Winning that guarantees you an opportunity to play on land against your opponents.
Gotta be
and
that top
here's-
four.
That's so
Here's the thing about this
cool.
matchup. This is going to be a banger for a number of reasons. One, yes, it is that Cinderella story. AoE Ginger Turmeric have gone farther than I think anyone, but maybe themselves would have expected. At the same time, they're playing for a lot to kind of prove themselves as players. We talked about how they've been kind of unfairly maligned in some cases. And Wixie gets to go up against his most recent Academy squad.
Well-
the revenge match is in full swing.
Well, it was the 100 Thieves.
Excuse me, the one before that.
Hey,
It
he
is
was
a good
subbing-
leap for me.
he was
It is a
subbing
leap
for
me.
Cloud9.
Either way, it's close.
you know.
It is very close. Do you have any thoughts about this upper bracket matchups, Avril, especially looking at the Cloud9 one?
She just wished
Oh
she was
yeah,
there.
I mean AoE, AoE like Ginger Turmeric has had like a miracle run, and like so far, like already they've made like history. Like I've never seen such a good amateur run in Proving Grounds. But sadly,
Well-
I'm not gonna have too much hopium because I think it's like the run is gonna end here because it's gonna be a really hard matchup for them against Cloud9. But
Well, the
even
spice
if
does
they
come.
do, even
I
if they
can't think
do,
of one.
like
I can't think of one amateur run that might have been a little bit better.
yeah, same.
Won't it work?
This is really good. No matter.
Ooh, okay.
We didn't win the whole thing. The very first
Yeah.
one.
Would this be bigger?
Gotta throw the no organ love in there. But
Would
let's
this
go
be
ahead and
bigger
look-
if they win the whole thing, though?
Yeah, true. It would be. It absolutely would be. I
Alright.
think in that aspect. But let's look at the lower bracket here, as we do have some matches still to be decided, though, as the second round matches in the lower bracket do have one at least team being knocked down from the upper bracket. But we gotta look at that left hand of the screen here. Joshi, I want to go to you. First things first. Do you see any that really bring attention to your eye? I see so many.
Look, the one that I'm looking at is L3 and L7. You got Taco Gaming versus 100 Thieves Academy, and Evil Geniuses playing the winner of them, right? Evil Geniuses just took a game, a near perfect game off of Team Liquid, and Taco Gaming is one of our best amateur squads as well, going up against 100 Thieves Academy that is slumping hard, right? 100 Thieves Academy really needs to win this, or they're not going to be able to make the same kind of lower bracket run that they did last time. But they also did it last time. They got knocked out to the lower bracket super early, and they took Team Liquid to Game 5.
They did indeed. Avril, any thoughts on these lower brackets? Who's getting knocked out? Who's sticking in?
Cincinnati Fear is totally gonna stay in and get to L8.
Ooh.
Like, I mean,
Ooh, get to
they've looked really
LA.
strong. Yeah, yeah. No, well, no, maybe I meant L8.
L8.
But
Okay, yeah. You know,
honestly, I'm
words.
gonna go with LA. Honestly,
Ooh.
they
Yeah, you know
think
what? Stick with
they're
it. I
gonna be
respect it.
champions.
What a series of events that would be. I would be here for it, honestly. Pyra, do you have any thoughts on these lower bracket matchups?
Yeah, I mean, I think what was already highlighted was definitely a banger. I've got my eyes on AoE versus GGA because I do think that this is a chance for another amateur team to pull off the upset, and I think CLG Academy probably end the run if they win, but I think it's still anybody's game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, leader's
Appreciate
back.
that.
Leaders
Yeah,
coming
that's
back
good.
for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting change, and I'm sure AoE Sports is going to have to deal with that in some way, shape, or form. But it's been an incredible broadcast day here, everyone. Joshi, thank you for joining me. Pyra, it's been incredible. You were saying today is your last day on the broadcast, so it has been an absolute pleasure. First of all, I just want to give you a second. Do you have thoughts on general PG moving forward, where we can find you, things like that?
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, honestly, it's just been an absolute pleasure to be here. I've been, getting a little bit more involved more and more last year or two in the North American amateur scene. Most people will know me from Europe, but I am, in fact, a California native. I am American. I know people always wonder those kinds of things. So it's really nice to be much more involved, and y'all have been oh so welcoming. It's great to work with everybody in this new generation of talent. Is just incredible. So y'all can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, all that stuff at Pyrotechnics everywhere. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Pyra. And Avril, you came on, you dominated the broadcast. Thank you so much for being here, getting to put up with us all day long. It's been an absolute pleasure. I want to give it a chance for you to give any shout outs and anything you want to talk about, where we can find you, what you're working on, all that good stuff.
I have had a great time. Like it's been like what 5 hours, and it felt like a second has flown by. It's honestly been so fun. Shout out to Kelsey for always letting me on and giving me chances, even after all the slip ups I have on the streams. And honestly, shout out to Dragoon. He has helped me through like this transitional portion of my career, and he's such a good friend, and I really hope his run doesn't end here and he keeps going and beats TSM Academy. You can find me at Twitch TV/Avril. I am going to be focusing a lot more on streaming a lot, and obviously my Twitter, AvrilADC. I post bangers on there perma. I know you've seen my account,
Non-stop
so please follow. And
shout
yeah.
out to you, Avril. Thank you. Thank you for being here with us. And,
Shout
thank
out
you
to
for,
you.
Again, just having a good time with us. All the love. But again, that's going to be it here for another day at the Proving Grounds. We'll be right back, same time, same place tomorrow, so don't go very far, and we'll see you next time on Summoner's Rift.